Welcome to the premiere episode of the SEZ Fireside Chat, the podcast where we explore how Jamaica's special economic zones are transforming the business landscape. I'm your host, Michael Montague Jr., Manager for Business Development within the Special Economic Zone Authority. On today's episode, we'll be exploring the foundations of the SEZ regime and how the SEZ regime has become your global competitive investment opportunity. Joining us to kickstart this session is none other than our Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Kelli-Dawn Hamilton. So thank you for joining us, Kelly. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Nice. So to begin this episode, please bring us through what a special economic zone is, the regime, and the role of the authority in all of this.
Okay, so the Special Economic Zone Authority is the entity responsible for facilitating and regulating investments in special economic zones. So what does that mean? We have a dual function based on the facilitation and regulation and historically what that has looked like. But for us, what we have done is married the two. We recognize that you can't facilitate without using the regulation. So we say that we regulate by facilitating, right? So we are facilitators first and foremost. And basically what that means is we have the responsibility to drive investments in Jamaica, growth of our economy through our special economic zones. So Jamaica has a long history of special economic zones. In some jurisdictions, it's called free trade zones. We had a free zone regime of the past that came into force from around the 1970s. So we have had a long and rich history of implementing incentives that facilitate businesses investing in our country. We would have transitioned from free zone to SEZ in 2016 with the passage of the Special Economic Zone Act. And the reason why we did that was twofold. One, it was to meet our international obligations at the time, or OECD, WTO requirements. But two, it was an opportunity to really upgrade the regime and modernize the regime and make it responsive to what was happening in the market at the time and what is happening now and where other countries are going in terms of positioning themselves to be competitive. We know that foreign direct investment, you have to maintain competitiveness in order to attract investment from the world. And that is what Jamaica is doing.
Nice. So for those of our viewers who do not, based on what you've said so far, are still like, what is a special economic zone? How would we define that?
That's an excellent question and one that we get a lot. What is a special economic zone? So it is literally a geographic area that has been designated by the government of Jamaica through the SEZ authority to operate within the context of different tax implications, different customs guidelines. So ultimately, you're operating in a zone, in a space that has access to different incentives. So once you're SEZ designated, you get access to a range of incentives that make it more cost effective for you to do business. The other question we normally get after persons ask what is an SEZ is where is the SEZ?
Very strong question.
Absolutely. So we say that the SEZ really, where we want to go, where we intend to go, where we are taking Jamaica is to the point where the whole country is a special economic zone and has access to benefits. So let's get a little bit into the history of SEZs,
Please.
right?
Yeah.
So SEZs are usually where countries test policies that will enhance effectiveness, grow economy, and make it cost effective for businesses to operate. Our SEZ is no different, which is why we have in our zones a lower corporate income tax rate, companies don't pay duties coming into the zone, and companies don't pay GCT. Now, where is the zone? Currently, we have 111 companies operating in over 200 locations across the island. So in Jamaica, there is no limit to where a zone can be placed. In some jurisdictions, they have zones set up specifically and you have to locate within the zone. But in Jamaica, we are driven by the private sector. So the private sector finds their location with our help in some instances. Some people come to us with lands already, and we designate those locations. As you know, some industries require different geographical space than others. So some can be housed in the center of the city, in the center of Kingston. Some companies require being near to a port. Right? So our regime is flexible enough to allow that. organic growth of industry and allows different companies to operate in different spaces that suit their needs. So that's a little bit on the history. I hope I've answered that question.
You have.
Okay.
But we mentioned the context, right? And I want to own in a little bit on what makes the context of Jamaica's SEZ unique to the Caribbean and to the rest of the world.
So, Jamaica is Jamaican. Jamaica is just that country. Everybody knows Jamaica. If you travel across the world, and if you travel across the world through Instagram and you see all these reels of people, they know Jamaica. We unique already. But what makes Jamaica unique within the context of the special economic zone is one, our geographic position. The major driver for us is our people. When we work, we work. Whatever we do well. We do exceptionally well. And so when companies come here to set up, they get a cadre of employees who are coming with that can-do attitude. And I'd like to insert here, at the Special Economic Zone Authority, we have that workforce where our team is so motivated to come in every day and sell the Jamaica, sell our geographic position, sell our people, sell the fact that we have a large English-speaking population, we're trainable, our connectivity is such that we are almost at the center of the world, if you want, based on where we're geographically positioned, we are a hub into North America, South America, Europe, in terms of our connectivity. I mean, we are a 4-hour radius from an 800 million person market. So we are well connected, and we have the connectivity, we have the infrastructure to facilitate trade in both goods and services. And this is why our global digital services sector, BPO, has done so well.
Yes.
Because of our people, because of the fact that we speak English so well, because we're so trainable. Our goods producing sector is also growing and thriving, and we have a significant opportunity in the area of logistics. Right now, warehouse spaces are going up in abundance because companies are looking at nearshoring.
Yes.
They're looking at friendshoring. When we look at the countries of the Caribbean, our discussions with our counterparts across the region is that we're not here to compete. And truthfully, you can't compete. Our advantages are different from anybody else. And quite frankly, we have the best advantage in our people, in our infrastructure, in our location. And, we thrive in the areas that we have this competitive advantage, right? So for us, it is those things that make us unique. We are a growing location. If you look at our economic performance, I mean, right now inflation is at historical lows. Our unemployment rate is the lowest it has ever been, 3.5%. Our debt to GDP has reduced significantly. We're now at 70 something percent that we have accomplished, and in a relatively short space of time too.
Very short,
and so our Fitch rating was recently upgraded to -BB.
Yeah.
So we are doing exceptionally well as a country, and now is the time for companies that are looking to have a stable footprint into the world to ensure business continuity, global expansion. Jamaica is that location for them to come, set up in our SEZs and grow their businesses.
There we go. And I just want to plug here for those who are interested, those investors, those prospects who are interested in our special economic zone regime, feel free to call us. Check out our website, request a consultation, call us at 876-619-7392, or email our business development unit at bdev@jseza.com. So far, Kelly, we are learning a myriad of things, seeing the great things of where the special economic zone has evolved from and where it is at now. I want to pick your brain a little bit to understand, where are we looking? Where do we see the SEZ Authority and the regime within the next 5 to 10 years?
All right. So let me go back in history before I go forward.
Okay.
Under the free zone regime, companies had to export 80% of their output. Under the SEZ, there's no such requirement. Wherever your markets are, you sell your goods there. So that is a major difference between SEZ and free zone. Under the free zone regime, there wasn't an SEZ authority
Right.
that was working hand in hand with clients. As you know, we work quite closely with our clients. I mean, we have to get into their lives in order to help to grow their business. Without our clients, there is no SEZ authority. Right. And so with that thinking in mind, that is how we're going to drive Jamaica to the next step, which is the build out of large-scale zones. So currently with our 111 companies operating, we have done an excellent job at small to medium-sized zones, and this is comparatively, right? Yeah. So we have developers who have built out purpose-built space for special economic zone companies or companies to come in and operate as SEZs. Where we want to go now is, and you would have heard about the Cayman Special Economic Zone, 700.4 acres of land dedicated to really transforming Jamaica into that logistics hub. And in that facility, we will have agro-processing, manufacturing, like manufacturing assembly. We will have global digital services sector operators. We'll also have housing, training centers, research and development. So it is really creating a whole township. Now, where that location will be is right out by Caymanas, by ferry, mm-hmm. right? So it's on the opposite side of the police station, right on the side of the gas station, mm-hmm. is where that 700-acre plot will be. And if you look at the positioning of that location, it is about 5 to 7 minutes from the port. You have access to the 3 major highways. Yeah, it will close. Exactly. It's very close to our airport as well. And so it is well positioned to really. Can you imagine that 700 acres built out and just the movement of goods in and out, seamlessly. Yeah. Now that seamlessness is where our future lies. So not just in creating larger spaces, but in making it more efficient for companies to operate. Right now, the Special Economic Zone Authority is building out an investor platform. And on that portal, this is completely digitalized. All services that we offer will be housed on that platform. So persons will no longer need to submit anything manually. We're doing digital applications, digital requests, to facilitate, a reduction in the time that it takes for companies to apply to get their different approvals, but also it allows for seamless integration with the entities that we have to work with, such as our tax administration, Jamaica Customs, or Ministry of Finance, and all the other entities across government.
So you would have spoken about Cayman's Special Economic Zone. Right? Now, a lot of the talks is about Jamaica and its logistics hub initiative. Own in on that a little bit for me.
Sure. So the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative is really about capitalizing again on our unique advantages or geographic positioning in the Americas. Where we're located, if you want to draw a parallel with a country like Singapore, we're on the same lines of latitude, right? So based on that positioning, Jamaica can be that hub into the Americas, North America, South America, and the world. The Logistics Hub Initiative is really outlining different actions that we need to take to move us further onto the global stage in logistics and being that point of contact. Right? So what it is, where we are now, we are updating that plan of action and implementing that plan of action within the context of things that we're learning now, right? So we have different opportunities based on happenings in the Panama Canal, in the Suez Canal, and just where we have advanced in terms of technology. I mean, Jamaica is one of the first countries in the region to implement a port community system. We're currently developing a single maritime window. So there are a number of opportunities that have arisen that we are definitely taking advantage of. We have companies like KFTL, CMA, CGM operating here, Kingston Wharves, that are bursting at the seams and are seeking to do even more business in Jamaica. So Jamaica as a logistics destination is a no-brainer. And I spoke about the fact that we have warehouses going up. We have different infrastructure to support that happening here. And Jamaica is an excellent destination for your light assembly as well. So, based on all of that, I think the only next natural step is to come to Jamaica and set up your operations and take advantage of this opportunity.
Now, if you don't know or you're still not sure, now is the right time to be a part of the special economic zone regime and just to benefit from Jamaica's strategic location. Now, Kelly, for our investors or prospects, what is one thing that they should know now to ensure that they invest and maximize on their investments through the special economic zone regime?
Jamaica provides a competitive advantage in terms of what we offer in our incentives. And these incentives that I'm referring to are both fiscal and non-fiscal. The Special Economic Zone Authority is your partner in growing your business. And where we are positioned, we work with just about all agencies of government that play a role in investment. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, we are your facilitators. We provide that service that handholds you through the process of setting up to implementation. But specifically to your question, you asked what is one thing that people need to know. The time is now. The time is now. Take advantage of it. Call us, email us, check out our social media pages, and let us have a sit down. There is no wrong time to come to the authority with your business proposition, and you can't come to us too early either. So we would love to hear from you from the idea stage, because at least then we can talk you through what our requirements are.
The facilitation arm.
Exactly, right? We can help with identifying lands, all the parts of setting up a business. We can help to facilitate that. So come to us now, reach out. The time is now. I mean, based on all that is happening in the global landscape, coming out of COVID, I mean, we would have seen a major shift in how we look at supply chains, how we grow companies. Right now, AI, there's a big AI thrust.
And we have an episode on that.
There you go. So there are a number of opportunities that are coming to the fore, things that never existed before we're able to do. So come to the Special Economic Zone Authority here in Jamaica. As you said, our email address, you can get us info@jseza.com. Our number is 876-619-7392. Or you can check us out on social media at @VJSEZA. We're here to facilitate all our businesses.
Kelly, thank you so very much for those insights. Special Economic Zone sounds promising, is promising, and I look forward to seeing the application, seeing the expression of interest from our prospective investors. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this episode. This is our Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Kelli-Dawn Hamilton. Don't forget to join us on the next episode, where we'll break down the incentives and how you can apply to ensure that you maximize your investments.